There is undoubtedly, as in any endeavor, failures by the state government, by the city government, with respect for planning or allocating resources. But the idea that several $1 million on a nearly $1 billion budget for the fire department in LA is responsible for this disaster is absurd. And the reason why that narrative gets pushed is because people have either, political axes to grind, or really fundamentally, they want to hide the nature of what we've just witnessed and continue to witness in LA, right? Because if it is understood to be climate change and not just random incompetence, if it is understood to be society as a whole has not accepted in this country, because we have literally half of the political entity in this country, one of our major political parties has been denying the existence of climate change for decades now. But if we were to all as a society understand that this was caused by climate change, we would have already, as a society, dedicated more resources and had less building going on in these areas and much more resources, not to fighting, a fire that starts, but to preventing it. In other words, burying power lines, whatever you could do to prevent these things. And some can't be. Some people are just going to have to move. But as a society, if we understood that it was climate change, our reaction to what's going on, both before and after this event, would be radically different. There wouldn't be strings attached by Republicans to bailing out California. It's going to need to be bailout. Now they're just going to allow, disaster capitalism. Billionaires are going to come in. They're going to buy up all of Altadena. They're going to buy up all this land. They're going to turn it into, you'll have a huge rental market and they'll jack up the prices. It's just a profit opportunity for a lot of people. But, and that is why you will hear argument after argument ad nauseum about, 0.0001% of the fire department budget. And it'll go back and forth because this is, an interesting debate. There was $50 million in wages increase for things, but that was offset by the $17 million that didn't, go to questions of equity, on and on. The bottom line is this is climate change. This is what it's going to look like in community after community after community. North Carolina, you didn't hear people saying the highway department didn't build the highway correctly.
DEI.
Same thing. But good for Newsmax for making it very explicit. They won't even basically, they skip the interim step of having to pretend it's something else. They're just coming right out and saying, just in case you were wondering, 100-mile winds in an area that hasn't received a drop of rain in 9 months. That's just standard fare.
But I want to go back to California and the complete and utter incompetence from city officials to do the one thing they were elected to do, and that's to keep people safe. And that's the other part of this story. Everyone knows wildfires in California are going to happen. They're like hurricanes in Florida. You know they're coming. The Santa Ana winds blow like this every single year.
Pause it. If you've watched any of this coverage or heard anything from a fire department, they all say the same thing. I've seen Santa Ana winds. They've never been like this. And they say, I've seen Santa Ana winds. They've never been like this. And we've never had these usually when the Santa Ana winds come, we've gotten rain by then.
And 2024, hottest year on record. We've already crossed the Paris climate threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius warming, meaning we're setting off a chain reaction of more and more of these kinds of events that are going to happen. And so, can he deal with the macro facts instead of maybe not just focusing on, blue cities? That's really what the right wing
This is a project. This is a project for him.
Exactly.
You know they're coming. The Santa Ana winds blow like this every single year. If you live in Los Angeles, the Santa Anas are a part of life. Wildfires are a part of life. There was always going to be a fire. Fire ecologies existed in Southern California for thousands of years. This is nothing new. This is not climate change. This is actually the opposite of climate change. This is the climate staying the same. It's not climate change, it's climate same. And how bad these fires get in a city like LA is usually up to local officials that are elected by residents, like Los Angeles Fire Chief Kristen Crowley. And if she had focused just half of her attention on forest management and doing the things that should be done, fire crews are probably able to get control of these fires fairly quickly. But instead, the exact opposite has happened. Again, these are not a once-in-a-generation wildfire. This was not climate change. It's climate same, and it's death by DEI. Instead of focusing on making sure there's water in the fire hydrants, the Los Angeles Fire Department battalion chief was more focused on racism and making sure there are enough women working at the fire department. Take a look.
This is just bullshit.
It's not climate change. It's climate same. Hear it again. I'm not providing any evidence for it, but just so you know, Newsmax viewers, get it into your brain. It's not climate change. It's climate same. So you don't have to think about it anymore. And honestly, if it is climate change, they probably deserved it because of the wokeness and the coastal and the California of it all. That's the next step. We're going to have denial about the heightened intensity and frequency of these kinds of extreme weather events. And then if it happens in a blue area, it's probably because they support abortion and gay marriage and DEI and all of this kind of stuff. It's was it Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck who blamed a hurricane or some past natural disaster on abortion or gay marriage?
Oh, that was actually what's his face? Falwell and Pat Robertson.
Okay.
Or wait a second, I'm sorry. Falwell and Pat Robertson, 9/11 was on the gays. It was Pat Robertson who did blame the hurricanes on the abortion.
On abortion. Okay, sorry. Got mixed up.
Folks, that noise signals the open phone lines, 646-257-3920, 646-257-3920. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.